Hey guys, this is Lauren Productions, aka Number 4673, and this is a question of normalcy. This is my game. This is the game I made for NaNoRenO this March. And I've been wanting to play this on my channel for a very long time, but I wanted to take a break and a breather and step back from the project after finishing it, because that was the only thing on my mind when I was working on it. And now I want to show it to you guys, because it's not always that people who watch visual novel videos play them themselves. Some do, but some don't. So I've decided to try and show my game. I'm a little nervous because this game is incredibly important to me. It is the thing. When I finished with it and I looked at the final result, I really felt I did good. I was so proud of it, and I still am. It's still the best thing I've ever made, in my opinion. This is gonna be a long video because it's gonna be me going through the game, but I'm gonna be making some commentary on while playing, talking about the different kinds of things that I was thinking while making the game. First of all, the game has a very important place in my heart, because it's about a real issue that I go through myself every day. And it was probably going to be darker, but then one of my really close friends helped me build up the characters and the stories and stuff like that. And with her help, it became a little more quirky. It had more of a light touch that makes it not as heavy as my earlier games has been, which I really like. So I'm looking very much forward to working more on this with her, hopefully in the future. We're already. Oh god, my tea is making noises. Give me a second. Damn it. Yeah, okay. Anyway, I'm rambling, so let's just get started. First of all, I want to showcase the GUI, the general user interface. This was a joint effort of the friend I talked about before and me, who has been working. I've been talking about how I'd like it to look, and she's been working on it in photo editing softwares because she's really good at manipulating photos. And she's been working on all of the GUI with me, and has made it look much more professional than my earlier games, which I'm very grateful for. So I'm just gonna give you a quick tour of it. There's the options screen. Windows, all transitions, non-transitions, all scene messages, blah blah blah. Just gonna have it all at the normal music volume, text speed. You can see save game, load game, main menu, help, quit. You have a music room where you can see all of the songs that's been used, all of the names I've given the songs, most of them. We have a load screen where you can load different things. And save, of course, later in the game. I don't want to show off the CG gallery, because that's gonna be that's gonna be spoiling the CGs. This is the first path of the game, and once again, I want to thank everybody who's been involved. So much, especially my patient, amazing artist Johans, who made the sprites and CGs. God, she's awesome. Or he. They're awesome. Alright, let's go. One day, I'll tell you who I am. If I ever find out, that is. Part 1. The wheel. In an ever-spinning world, I am standing still. That is what people see. You have to will yourself into going at my pace. That was the intro. The game is going to be parted up in 7 parts, as far as I can remember, and it's gonna and each part is gonna have a part of a poem I wrote half a year ago, maybe, that I've that fits the game very well. That's I'm gonna yeah. I don't want to go. I'm being pathetic. It's a beautiful day. I have no other plans, and I'm sure once I'm there, it'll be fun. I wonder why it always ends up this way. I dread social interaction just as much as I need it. I am looking forward to it, believe it or not. I haven't seen my old classmates in ages, and so when I arranged the reunion, I was excited. Maybe more for nostalgia's sake than to see the people I dealt with for years, but it's still something. Yeah, I should make the best of it. Who knows, maybe I'll reconnect with some old acquaintances. Am I going the right way? Walking through the not narrow but neither wide alley, I was wondering if I got the location wrong. The sounds of the lively city brightens the atmosphere, but not that many people walked along the alley. This is it's supposed to be a place called Cafe Ross. There. I walk with hasty steps towards the little cafe squished in between an optician and an antique store. You would miss it completely if not for the small purple sign. As soon as I step inside, I'm swamped with noises and faces that I honestly can't tell from each other. Overwhelmed, I back away a step, and for a split second I debate whether or not I should just turn around and walk away. Then I get myself together and inhale the scent of coffee and that something sweet and indiscernible. I strain my ears and I can hear that music is playing from above, almost not audible over the chattering of excited teenagers. The music gives me a moment of calm before a hand lands on my shoulder and I repress a shudder. Shakya, it's so nice to see you again. I'm so happy you could come. Aya throws her arms around me and doesn't seem to notice how I tense up. Sweat starts to gather on my palms and neck and I swallow tightly. She gives me a little squeeze and finally lets me go. I brought one of my friends. You just have to meet. I know you two will adore each other. Aya gives the girl by her side a good-naturedly shove, and the girl gives me a slight grin before extending her hand. Hey, it's nice to meet you. And here there's supposed to be 2 options, pretend to be normal or be yourself, and those will determine what routes you're gonna go on in the game. But as mentioned, I've only written the first route, one of the routes, the be yourself route. So that's the one we're gonna go for, obviously, since I haven't finished the other one. And but what I wanted to do with this was that I wanted to have fewer choices that truly meant something, which is extremely difficult to do. But I wanted to make it like one choice in the beginning that changes everything. So yeah. I move my hand behind my back since I don't really like touching people suddenly like that. The girl lets her hand fall after a couple of seconds and silence lies between us as no one says anything. I look at the girl and notice how she has very nice hair. It's a fiery red that seems to crackle and burn with strength. I like your hair. Thanks. The girl's lips twitches and I'm not sure if it's forced or not. Yeah, it's like fire. I was camping a couple of years ago and I remember watching the fire, along with the stars. Your hair is calm but still mischievous at the same time. I can feel a smile on my lips as I think back to that time, and I open my mouth to continue talking about it, but Aya talks quickly over me with a short, sharp laugh. Yeah, I'm sure. But I have to introduce my friend to more people now, Shaka. I'll see you later today, alright? I can barely nod before Aya drags the girl with pretty hair with her. Before they're completely gone, I hear her mumble to the girl. I told you she was weird. I let myself fall onto the bed and close my eyes, trying to keep the swarming thoughts out. What a day. Blocking out worries about how I did today, I curl into a ball. Drowsiness overwhelms me and soon I give in to it, not caring about being fully dressed. Part 2. The light. You'll notice that some days I take a step, others I take one back. Sometimes I fall flat and realize that while others travel mile after mile, I have a knack for losing my balance. It's a talent I've come to hate. Three years later. Oh, 2 seconds. Right, okay, I'm back. Ugh. This is one of the stupidest ideas you've had, and there's been a lot. Seriously? Did you not listen when I told you about the time I fled the police on bike carrying 3 boxes full of touche? This is still stupid. Shut up, Kringle, and keep going straight for 30 meters and then turn left. Lauren, can you not? What? You love specific instructions like that. I do, but you also know that I hate talking on the phone, so both you and I know that you did this out of your own selfish interest. Lauren doesn't miss a beat before replying. Ouch. Well, turn right now, so I can see you from the window. Come in slowly so I can prepare my broken heart for your cold rejection. Sarcasm? You got it. I had recognized this place from back at my class reunion, but the atmosphere still hits me like a stone. Without tons of hyper teenagers, the cafe seems more civilized and less intimidating. The bits of pieces of people's conversation, the soft clanging of dishes from the kitchen, the calming jazz played from speakers. I'm actually able to hear the notes without any of their noise, without all of the noise, and it's close to peaceful. Pringle! My eyes searched the tiny cafe for a couple of seconds before settling on Lauren, who sits at a table a bit away from the few customers in here. Give him a slightly irritated look as I step towards him and dump into the seat across from him. Are you ever going to stop calling me that? Nah, you're a Pringle and you don't want to be single, it's funny. I give up trying to argue and lean back in my seat, while Lauren still snickers. I look around the cafe. It's nice here, a bit like an unexplored corner of the world. I didn't notice that last time I was here. When I'm satisfied looking around, I turn towards Lauren again. So what are you doing here? Drinking coffee? I don't like coffee. Well, aren't you just a bundle of joy? Sarcasm. I know! Lauren waves his hand in the air as if fast-forwarding the conversation and then gives me what he thinks is an innocent smile. Don't be like that, I already ordered a cup of tea for you. Earl Grey with 2 sugar cubes and a teaspoon of milk. Can't help but appreciate that. Thanks, Lauren. It's quite unbelievable that Lauren and I hit it off as well as we have. He thrives on sarcasm, something I don't understand one bit, but somehow we've made the friendship work. We learned quickly how to treat each other, and Lauren never gives me weird reactions no matter how I act. It's relaxing. Lauren is quite the looker, if I do say so myself. With his Italian heritage, soft eyes, and honestly really cool hair, he seems approachable, if you don't count the scowl he bears with people he doesn't know yet. He's younger than me, and already way taller, but that doesn't say much. He also has a young face, with a nose he hasn't quite grown into yet. If you keep staring at me, I'm going to expect a love confession soon, Shaka, and I would hate to break your heart. Don't take it personally, darling. Shut up and ew. Kissing you would be like making out with my brother, if I had a brother. Which I don't, but still. You actually used to "you're like a brother to me" line. I must say, Pringle, didn't know you were capable of such cheesiness. We're interrupted when a waiter places 2 cups in front of us. He's almost obnoxiously tall, with floppy curly hair and a gentle smile. He gives off a soft feeling, but coupled with the height, it gives me mixed signals. A black coffee and Earl Grey tea with 2 sugar cubes and a teaspoon of milk. Thanks, dude. I'm not exactly sure what to think of him. He looks older than us, but not by a lot. But there's a youthfulness in his smile, but some weird sort of wisdom in his eyes. He catches me staring and shoots me a wide grin. I quickly look away and nod his thanks. Please enjoy. As he leaves, Lauren looks at me over the rim of his coffee cup. You know, you shouldn't stare if you don't want people to stare back. Shut it. Lauren barks a short laugh before a comfortable silence lies between us. At least I think it's comfortable since he doesn't look angry. We drink our tea and coffee and talk about small things. Lauren and I don't have many things in common, but somehow we get by. He talks about his dad, who sounds like a nice person, his mom, who doesn't, and his dog called Aya. I asked him once why he called his dog that, and he ranted for 15 minutes about a TV show I absolutely had to watch. But I'm not really much of a TV person. I listen to him, but I also speak my mind, and often it ends up being me talking for ages about something. Mostly things I've seen. I love nature, and describing it to others gives me a lot of joy. Lauren obviously doesn't care about that, but he listens for a time and then tells me when I've talked too much. And like that, our conversations are unusual, but comfortable. Oh crap. Lauren looks up from his buzzing phone, and I can see how his brows frown in an annoyed grimace. Mom, he mouths before pressing the phone against his ear. Yeah? I know, I forgot. Jesus, can you calm down? I'll be there in a bit. I can hear Lauren's mom going on the other end of the line, and he hastily gets up from the chair. I nod at him, as I know how impossible the woman can be sometimes. Like him. Lauren gives my shoulder a little squeeze on the way out, and I tense up automatically. I only relax when his touch disappears, but Lauren doesn't notice as he yaps in Italian at his mom while stalking out. Instead of getting up, I look out the window and watch Lauren run down the street. I stare even after he's gone from sight and allow myself to be lost to thoughts. Every once in a while I snap out of it when a coffee cup clink against the table or a voice raises a bit, but mostly the sky takes me in and gives me a moment of peace. I willingly lose myself in clouds and vast blue. Miss? I startle at the sound of the voice, and when I look up, I'm met with the tall waiter from before. He sends me an apologetic smile. I'm terribly sorry for startling you, but the cafe will be closing in a little while. I'm so sorry, I'll leave now. I scramble to my feet and bow my head to avoid looking at him. The waiter unnerves me. He's smiling all the time, but I don't know what that smile means. Is he just happy, or is it something else? I look up, and he stops at me in my tracks, and I can see that smile is replaced with something that might be uncertainty. I'm closing up today, so perhaps you'd want another cup of tea? He smiles again. My treat. Okay. Great. Just give me a couple of minutes. It was Earl Grey tea with 2 sugar cubes and a teaspoon of milk, right? I nod slowly, and my eyes follow him as he kind of bounces towards the bar. If you haven't guessed it until now, this game is very much about characters. It's like, there is no story, really. This is purely based from characters. And I love it so much. These characters are so dear to me. I rant about them all the time. If I could, I would rant about them like 24/7. Now that I'm back in reality, I notice that the entire cafe is empty and all of the faint sounds from before are gone. That makes the sound of the waiter fiddling behind the bar louder. Shortly after, the waiter returns with a cup of steaming tea. Without waiting for it to cool, I take a quick sip and sigh. I noticed it before, but this is a really good tea. This is nice. The waiter seems happy with my response and hesitates before sitting down across from me. Thanks, I've tried to perfect it for a long time. I'm guessing you're offended that I use milk and sugar then? What? Of course not. Do people actually get offended over that? Well, maybe not offended, but tea enthusiasts often tell me I drink it the wrong way. This one time when I was at my aunt's place in London, as I tell the story of how I severely offended my aunt in the span of 10 minutes, he actually looks as engrossed in it as I am. When I get to the point of the story where my aunt got so angry at me that she spilled tea on the table, I have to force it out through my laughs. And then she sits there, as her face is red as a beet, and I say, "Don't you think that's a bit more wasteful, Aunt Carol?" And she just loses it. He laughs openly. He has the sort of laugh that is whole and open and fills an entire room. I dry a couple of tears from my eyes when I finish chuckling, and only then I realize that I talked non-stop for at least 15 minutes. Which is hard. I would know, as I record videos for hours. That's why I always have tea and water nearby. Normally I would be stopped before someone would find an excuse to change the subject, but the waiter just listened through it all, laughing as if he was there when it happened. He looks at me and I can't read his eyes, so I look down at my cup. Can I have your name? Shakya. I ponder for a couple of seconds if I actually want to know his name, and to my surprise, I do. What's yours? I'm Marvin. His tone and way of speaking is quiet, and while it feels nice, some people have the most ear-shattering voices. I can't quite make out his name. Marvin? There's a weird look in his eyes, like a twinkle, and then his smile widens. Sure. I can feel a smile on my lips as I drain my tea and carefully put down the cup. It's getting late. I need to get going. Of course, sorry for holding you. You weren't. If I didn't want to be here, I would have left. Marvin walks me to the door, but hesitates to open it. You know, if you want, you can come by tomorrow, have another cup of tea on me. Why? Because I like talking to you, Shakya. Oh. Okay. Marvin grins as if it joins him to know I'm coming again and holds the door open for me. He cocks his head to the side and looks at me for a bit before saying with a tiny smile, I like your hair. It's like you bring a bit of nature with you. That's what I was going for. Now, I was very, sorry, I just want to stop that blanket sound effect. I was very adamant about how I wanted you to not romance someone if you not wanted. There is a possibility to romance Marvin. We're not gonna do that in this playthrough. We're gonna go with the friendship route, which isn't much different. But like you can choose to romance him, which I thought was a very important thing. Because I wouldn't want I don't want to force it upon people, and I don't want it to be like if you don't want to romance him, it's not gonna be like a penalty. It's just you can't get a bad ending just because you choose not to romance him. Like if you're friendly with him and like you choose, and I feel that's a very important thing. All right, I let myself fall into bed and cuddle up with the blankets. I feel exhausted, but honestly, it wasn't that bad of a day. I met Lauren and talked to him at that cafe. Cafe Ross, is a nice place. The waiter Marvin seemed friendly enough, even though I wasn't sure if he liked talking to me or was just humoring me. He invited me to come again. I'm not sure if he can be my friend, though. I close my eyes. Only tomorrow will tell. Part 3. The path. The world is spinning out of my control, and I have no chance of winning. I can't keep up, so I accept my role as a fallen. As you can see, it's already 23 minutes into the video, and we're only at part 3, so this is gonna be a longer one. Today is not a good day. I can feel it in the air as soon as I open my eyes, and I don't know how much time passed while I just stare into the ceiling. It's 12 a.m. when I finally get out of bed. I feel groggy and tired as I dress and sit at my desk staring at the blue sky. The bad days always start like this. I wake up with such a heavy feeling, and no matter what I do, I can't shake the sleep off me. Colors dull before my eyes, and the world is left in a grey haze. Makes me almost desperate to feel anything else but that heavy feeling, but I know only sleep cures that, and sometimes not even. Tea sip. When I finally get myself together and leave the apartment. I thought about going to the local park on my way here, but I feel a little too late already. The streets are more crowded than usual since people are getting off work and school now. I hurry down the road, keeping my head low. The sound of people's voices and footsteps sneak into my ears and settle as a dull throbbing. I try to focus on the sound of my own breathing and the birds chirping far, far away. But they disappear in the chaos of sounds and people all trying to get somewhere. Someone bumps into me, and I almost stumble trying to jump away. My palms feel sweaty, and I try to swallow through the tightness of my throat. Finally, I find the sign that says Cafe Ross and scramble inside. But inside it's even worse. I had known that the cafe was rather famous in town, but now it's filled to the brim with people. Adults, teenagers, mothers with their babies. The noise is close to ear shattering, and I try to swallow again. With panic rising inside, I look for Marvin, but I see no faces I recognize. Excuse me? I turn my head and find a robust man with a closely cut grey beard who stands before me. Judging by his uniform, he works here. Can I help you, miss? I don't know. I'm going outside. Before the man can say another word, I turn and leave as quickly as I came. When I get outside and take a couple of deep breaths to calm my racing heart, I do that. People are still crowding on the street, but I can hide away a little at the side of the road. I feel frustrated with myself and push out a harsh breath, trying to force my body to calm down. Shakya! Are you okay? Ross told me you arrived, but didn't look too good, and He trails off after taking a look at my face, and he looks less distressed, but more determined. Should we go somewhere else? Okay. Marvin led me away from the crowded street and through the park before stopping at the local lake. The sounds of the city have faded, and now the only thing audible is the faint sounds of nature wrapping around us. I blink slowly and take a steady breath. I'm okay. He watches me for a good while, as if trying to make sure, and then nods. A careful smile quirks at his lips, as if he isn't sure if it's allowed. Wanna sit for a bit? I nod and sit down on the ground, where the view of the lake is best, ignoring the bench a couple of meters away. Marvin doesn't hesitate before sitting down beside me, crossing his long legs in front of him. I watch the lake and listen to my breathing. That's completely normal by now. I notice that Marvin sits a good distance from me, and I give him a grateful look. We sit like this for a while. Not good with crowds. It's more noises and smells and people being too close. It feels like the air becomes unbreathable and thick. I hate it. Marvin looks at me for a good while, his eyes soft, even though I don't know what they're trying to tell me. I'm sorry. Why? Because I didn't tell you that the cafe was rather crowded at this time, especially Fridays. He couldn't have known. Apologizing for that doesn't make sense. I guess so. But I can tell you now at what days and times it's bad. That would be helpful. Silence lies between us again, but I don't dislike it. But I am curious about Marvin. I barely know anything about him at all. How old are you? He trails off and a couple of seconds pass before he finally answers. 23. Why did that take such a long time to remember? I laugh and his lips turn upward at the sound. I feel more relaxed and less tense now, which loosens my lips. I turned 19 this January. I feel like the older you get, the faster time passes. Januaries are always incredibly fast. You think so? December is the month that flashes by in my eyes. Ugh, no, all of the gross Christmas lights and filled up stores never goes away. You don't like Christmas? Have I permanently offended you by now? Close. How can you not like Christmas? Everyone likes Christmas. Not me. Okay, Scrooge. Please don't call me that. Duckling? Why in the world would you call me that? Don't do that. Too late, it's sticking. You monster. Marvin just laughs, and I can't help but joining in. He has the most contagious laugh, I swear. After the conversation dims down, I watch the sky and lake. This place has a certain air of peace that I can't quite put my finger on. I hum a little song, even though my singing voice isn't anything to applaud. Marvin seems relaxed as well, just looking at the lake and plucking a few pieces of grass from the ground, letting it go for the wind to take. This is nice. But I should go. I should be leaving now. Before I can even put a hand on the ground, Marvin is on his feet, reaching down to give me a hand. I hesitate, feeling unsure of whether or not I want to take it. At last, I decide I want to, and I grab his hand firmly, and he easily pulls me to my feet. There won't be many people on Sunday at 1 o'clock at the cafe. I'd be very happy if you came over again. I still owe you that cup of tea. I don't understand. Excuse me. You just met me, and all the time we've talked, it's just been me talking about myself and freaking out over something stupid. I'm sure I even made you miss a lot of work right now. Why would you still want to see me? Because you seemed like a person I'd like to know. I've met many people, and of course, while no one is alike, you stood out from the crowd. I know that's not something you're trying to do, and I get the feeling you're unhappy with where you are right now. But trust me when I say that's not a bad thing. I wanted to know more about you and talk to you. I enjoy talking to people who don't talk about the usual stuff. The people who can talk about big things and small things. The things you don't want to talk, think, or sing about. The things hidden in the corner of our eyes. And the things nobody even's got to think about yet. The people who can basically think like a junkie without taking a single swig of a joint. Those are the people I want to have a conversation with. For a couple of seconds, I'm not even sure what to say. His response is more than I've ever gotten before, and it leaves me speechless. That's definitely the weirdest answer I've ever gotten. Then I know my job is done. But I really have to go now. Guess I'll see you Sunday? Wouldn't miss it for the world, duckling. Don't call me that. When I get home and finish dinner, it's already dark outside. I don't like walking around the apartment. It just reminds me of how empty it is. Instead, I sit at my desk and try to call up Lauren on Skype. Hello? Hey Lauren, it's me. Hello, me. Do I get a name to call you? You don't have that many friends, so I think you can manage. You won't be, Pringle. So what's up? I was wondering if you wanted to go to that cafe again downtown this Sunday. Sure, why not? It's a good timing since I'm stuck here all day tomorrow. Your mother? You liked the coffee there, didn't you? So it'll be nice. Yeah, sure. But why are you so eager to go there? Well, sorry, my voice is really bad these days. I'm not 100% recovered, I think. Well, I talked to the waiter after you left yesterday, and he seemed really nice. I bumped into him again today, and he told me I could have a free cup of tea this Sunday. The waiter? Yeah. Tall, good-looking Filipino guy? I guess so. What? Nothing. It's just unlike you to befriend someone like that. It took us at least 2 years to become real friends after meeting. You're right. Guess he's just my kind of person. Well, guess that's just a good thing. We'll have to go. I have a date in a bit. You mean an Overwatch date? Still a date? Sure. I'll see you Sunday, Pringle. See ya. Before today, I thought Lauren was the only one who came up with the worst nicknames. What a dog. I lie down in bed and look at the ceiling. I can't stop thinking about what he said. How unhappy where I am right now, huh? I wouldn't say that's wrong. Sunday. So how was your day yesterday? Ugh. That bad? No, just the same. Which is bad. Yes, it is. Now drop it. Lauren is in a rather bad mood today as we make our way towards Cafe Ross. It happens some days, mostly after spending time with his mother. Even me, who has a hard time reading people, can see that he's pissed off on these days. Lauren? What? You want to hear a cat joke? Not really. Never mind, just kidding. I don't think we can be friends anymore. Seriously, leave. He doesn't laugh, but I get the feeling that he isn't as mad as before. I'm not very good at cheering people up. I never know how to go about it, but that doesn't stop me from trying. Luckily, a bad pun can sometimes do the trick. Stop laughing. Sorry. When we step inside, I inhale the scent of spices and warmth. It's not as crowded as last time I was here, and that's a relief to say the least. I enjoy the music playing from the speakers a bit, as before we sit at the same table we sat at last time we were here. Lauren follows silently, but I'm almost positive that he's feeling better than before. This cafe's atmosphere is really something. Duckling! What? Do you always give your customers nicknames, Mr. Waiter? Apologies, Miss and Mr. Customer. What would my honored guest like as refreshments this lovely eve? Even I can tell that he's joking, but it's still quite refreshing. Lauren seems to soften a bit too, as well. He was sitting rigid before, but Marvin's easygoing manner seems to have made him more comfortable. Marvin seems to know people well. I'm a little envious. Same as last time? I nod absent-mindedly as I rub my finger against the dent in the table that wasn't here last time. It's small and kind of like a scratch mark, but even though it's not very visible, it's easy to feel. When I look up, Marvin is gone and Lauren is watching. What? Duckling? Like you're one to talk. Seems pretty cool. A bit weird. Fits right in, doesn't he? True. Marvin soon returns with our drinks and sits down a steaming cup in front of me and a tall mug for Lauren. Mug. Here you are, black coffee and Earl Grey tea with 2 sugar cubes and a teaspoon of milk. You don't know how how much I've learned to, say that sentence fast. Earl Grey tea with 2 sugar cubes and a teaspoon of milk. I fucked that up a lot when I was, reading it out loud for friends and family. Earl Grey tea with 2 sugar cubes and a teaspoon of milk. He sends an amused look. No ingredients included. You told him about that? I may have. Did you remember to mention that you were actually banned from coming back there? A short burst of laugh sounds from Marvin as I clear my throat visibly. That was nice. I needed to clear my throat anyway. Anyway, Lauren, this is Marvin. Marvin, this is Lorenzo. Lauren for short. I do a little hand gesture, not used to making introductions. There's a glint in Marvin's eyes, if he knows something I don't, but he doesn't say anything. Hey. Lauren nods. It's one of his better introductions. Not that I'm one to judge. Marvin opens his mouth to say something, but Lauren's phone vibrates and he makes an apologetic grimace. Sorry, give me a second. He looks down and starts typing furiously on his phone. By the frown he's wearing, I don't have to ask who it is. Marvin doesn't seem offended at all, but leans down closer to talk to me softly. How are you feeling today? I can't help but smile over his concern. It's not often people ask, and while I'm not used to it, it is quite nice. I'm cat's pajamas, fresher than a daisy. Well, isn't that just the bee's knees? Lauren gives us a quick look of exasperation before returning to his texting. I'd run my finger over the dent in the table again and look up at Marvin. My curiosity gets the better of me. What happened here? Marvin leans closer over my shoulder to look at the scratch. His eyes glaze over for a couple of seconds before his expression changes. Oh! A lady knocked over a book she was reading, so loudly that everyone in the cafe heard it. How could a book do this? I touch it again, not sure if I believe him, before turning my head to look at Marvin. But he was apparently closer than I thought, because I bumped my head softly against his arm. We both freeze, and a tiny voice in my head tells me that I should probably move away, but something catches my attention. You smell like kiwis. Is that a good thing? I like kiwis. Well, thanks. Marvin straightens his back after sending me a grin, and I take a sip of my tea. When I look back up, I find Lauren staring at us almost disbelievingly. What? You... Never mind. He sighs. I'm not sure what's up with him, but he doesn't seem annoyed, more confused. Well, I have to get back to work. I'll come back later, as soon as I can. Okay. If you two want to converse with someone, there's a girl over there that looks like she needs a good talk. He gives us a last smile before walking off. I look back to Lauren, who still looks sullen after the phone conversation. Is she being impossible again? Yeah. Even I can tell that he doesn't want to talk about it. Instead, I turn my attention towards the girl Marvin pointed out. She sits by the window, looking out on the opposite end of the cafe. Her gaze follows the people who pass by outside, her expression closed and definitely not happy. The kind of face people have when they think no one else is watching. And in this route, this is the first choice, we are gonna go talk to her. I'm not especially good at cheering people up, I never know what to say, but thoughts of how Marvin did his best to cheer me up last Friday comes back to me. It gives me courage to at least try. You wanna go talk to that girl? Nah, but you go on ahead. I need a breathing room anyway. I nod and leave him sitting. Sometimes Lauren needs time to think about things. He doesn't get much of that at home. I feel nervous when I walk through the cafe, stopping in front of the red-haired girl. She's pretty, but not in the sense that you get blown away. But more that you get the distinct feeling that she knows how to take care of her looks. Her makeup is precise, her messy bun deliberately so. She looks like a guarded person, which is why her expression seems unlikely. I don't want to startle her, so I talk as softly as possible, doing my absolute best to seem friendly. Excuse me? Oh. She startles, but only for a second before getting herself together. Can I help you? Do you mind if I sit? No, I don't mind. Her eyes darts around the cafe as if checking if there's any other free seats, and while there is, I'm determined to start a conversation. I was wondering if you wanted to chat. I'm sorry if I'm being forward, but you looked down and I wanted to know if you wanted to talk. I must have said something bad, because her already startled eyes widens and she takes a while to answer. I'm about to abort the mission and give up when her eyes soften and she looks less hostile. It's kind of you to ask. I've had a tough day, that's all. Sometimes daily life can be incredibly tiring. I understand that. The world always expects you to keep going at the same pace, even on bad days. Exactly. Silence lies between us, and I'm unsure of what to say. I'm not sure, but I don't think she'd like me to pry. So instead, I do what I always do when I try to cheer someone up. What's a cheese that can never be yours? What? What's a cheese that can never be yours? I don't know. Nacho cheese. As an uncontrolled burst of laughter leaves her, the wall of cold glass she was trying to keep up around her shatters. Her laugh is rough and gravelly, unlike her delicate appearance, and it makes her warmer, softer. That was horrible. But it worked. I guess it did. Does my punny savior have a name? I'm Shakya. I'm Regan. Thanks for coming by. I think I needed a bit of company. It's honestly fine. I'm aware that I'm not very good at cheering people up, but I thought it shouldn't stop me from trying. That's a good way to look at things. I wish I could be like that. You know, jumping into things that aren't always in your comfort zone, not always safe betting. Her smile freezes a bit. If it helps, I almost didn't have the courage to approach you. You kind of give off this unreachable vibe, so I didn't know if I would bother you. I know, it's a bad habit. It's not like I'm trying to seem like a grade-A bitch. Her lips quirk ever so slightly, softening the sharp lines of her face. But I guess it comes naturally to me. Being an inconsiderate airhead is my specialty, so I think we'd make a good duo. If you need a partner in crime, you know who to ask. I just might take you up on that offer. What would our first mission be then? Probably... We're interrupted by the sound of a vibrating phone. Regan grimaces and pulls it out from her pocket. Her eyes stay on the screen for a couple of seconds, reading before she looks up with a very tired expression. Hold that thought, I'll have to head out. Oh. I like this place, so I'll probably be coming back. Maybe I'll see you here again at some point? Sure. I'll have the time to think up on our first mission then. A short laugh leaves the red-haired girl before she gets up and hastily makes her way towards the exit. The refined air around her returns as soon as we stop talking, and once again she seems unapproachable. And that was Regan. That was the last character, important character in the game. Sadly, we don't get as much of vegan as I'd like in this route. In the other route, you will be able to have a lot more vegan, even the possibility of romancing her. Haha. I'll get to that at some point, but for now, yeah. I sigh before returning to Lauren, who still sits. But by the way, Lauren is not possible to romance. Before returning to Lauren, who sits at our seats checking something on his phone. He looks up when I sit down. Nice talk? Yeah. Really? She seemed kind of basic. I guess. After a couple of moments of silence, me and Lauren get talking again, but mostly about not important things. Damn, this is gonna be almost 2 hours, I feel. Whew. Sorry, guys. I'll have to go now. I'm cooking dinner tonight and I haven't bought groceries yet. Okay. That's what he said, not me. That was his voice, not Shaka's voice. Okay, I'm sorry if today wasn't too exciting. Nah, it was fine to have some peace and quiet. I'm the one who should apologize for acting like a cranky jerk face. That's true. I'll stick around longer next time so I can talk more to this waiter of yours. See ya, Pringle. He ruffles my hair, but it doesn't feel uncomfortable for once. I watch him as he leaves the cafe. He may not be bouncing with joy, but his spirits are brighter than earlier today. When he's gone, I realize that most of the cafe is emptied. In the next couple of minutes, I look at an old man reading his newspaper before leaving the cafe too. Just as I'm about to think about leaving as well, Marvin comes out from the kitchen carrying a tray with 2 mugs and a plate on it. Oh, good, you're still here. I'm sorry for the long wait. I saw Lorenzo leave. I hope he's alright. Yeah. He he places the table. God, it's late, okay? He places a tray on the table and sits in front of me with a wary breath. I can see how his hair is damp from heated air in the kitchen and his shoulders slump in exhaustion. Then I look at the tray with nuts and hot chocolate and a couple of pastries. You shouldn't have, Marvin, when you're already so tired. It's my pleasure, Duckling. I get the feeling you don't eat enough as it is, so this is for my own peace of mind. But I hope you like hot chocolate. While I can forgive the whole not liking Christmas thing, hot chocolate is a way of life for me. I like it, don't worry. He sighs and holds a hand near his heart in relief. Marshmallows or whipped cream? Whipped cream. I'm more of a marshmallow guy myself, but I see the appeal. You are quite the marshmallow. We chat for a bit while Marvin prepares our drinks, and I nibble the end of a croissant. When he hands me the mug, I take a big swig, and it tastes heavenly. Once again, I feel really relaxed, more than I should in a slightly unknown place. Who makes the pastries? That would be Dave. He keeps to the kitchen where his true passion lies. Me and Ross are the ones who tend to customers. Ross is the bearded man? Yeah, he started this cafe with Dave. Dave wanted a bakery, but Ross wanted a cafe, and this is what we ended up with. That's a nice story. I look around at the cafe while sipping my drink. The fact that I know the history of this place makes it nicer somehow. How long have you worked here? I'm not sure. 4 years? Maybe 5. Do you think you'll keep working here? I do. It may not be the most extravagant job, and I may not earn all of the riches, but I like it here, and it gives me joy. Ross took me in when I was going through a rough patch, and he and Dave helped me realize what I wanted to gain from life. And what is that? Happiness. I'm not sure if I can relate to that. Of course I'd like to be happy, but more than I'd like to have a steady future? Not really. Not that I exactly have a steady future as it is now. I wanted to ask you this, actually. I'm sorry if I'm being impolite or too familiar, but I get the feeling that you're not happy with how you are right now. You said that last time as well. I want to help you. I don't know exactly what I can do to help yet, but I want to, in any way I can. Why? Because I want you to feel better. And why in the world would you want that? It doesn't make sense. Because I want to be your friend, Shaka. Will you allow me to help you? And now this is a very important choice. Of course. And since we're going for a good ending, we're gonna say yes. Okay, I'm not sure how you intend to help me, but I need all the help I can get. Great, I'll think of something soon. But I should probably go home. I need to make dinner. Of course, if you have time tomorrow morning, can you come by perhaps? I will. What a day. I feel completely bombed when I finally finish dinner and washing the dishes. I should take a bath. Ugh, I'm too tired. I'll just go to sleep. I'm not sure what to think of today. I met up with Lauren. He was in the cranky mood. At least we said goodbye on good terms. I talked to that girl, Regan. She was nice, even though we didn't get to talk much. I wonder if she's okay now. And Marvin said that he wanted to help me be happier. I wonder if he's able to help me. Part 4. The Will. I am so tired. I stopped caring about my heart's needs and how wrong my brain is wired. I was thinking about stopping now and splitting it up into two, but you know what? No. We're going through with this. We're going through it with it till the end. We're over halfway anyway. My alarm wakes me up, and after getting dressed, I stare out of the window. Well, not over halfway, almost halfway. I stare out of the window, feeling slightly dazed. How long has it been since I woke up this early? I decide to make my way to the cafe to meet Marvin as promised. You're probably going to be tired of the bell and door sound by the end of this playthrough. I would want it to be like very sound heavy and have a lot of like sounds in the background to like kind of build atmosphere, because I feel like sometimes visual novels kind of like skip that step, and I feel like audio is really important. So I tried my very hardest to make sounds happen. Since it's fairly early, the roads were quiet. My voice does not want to corroborate today. But it's a bit livelier inside the cafe. The specific morning feeling makes it all kind of dreamlike. I look around for Marvin, but I don't see him serving the tables. Well, Dodie just uploaded a video, but not now. I look around for Marvin, but don't see him serving the tables. After standing around for a bit, my eyes find the bearded man that Marvin told me was Ross. I'm not sure if I should go talk to him, though. Luckily, I don't have to decide, because he spots me and walks towards me with hasty steps. Wouldn't say he looks angry, but the gentle lines of his face are exasperated. You must be Miss Shakya. The boy hasn't Yeah, I messed up that sentence. The boy hasn't talked about much else these days. Yeah, he told me to come by this morning. He's not here yet, probably overslept. It happens sometimes. Oh. I feel a little disappointed since I was looking forward to talking to Marvin again, but that's how it is. I'm about to thank Ross and make my way home, but he talks before I can get to it. You know what? Could you do me a huge favor and pick him up for me? Here, I'll write the address down. Can't you call him? He forgot his phone here yesterday. That was rather stupid of him. Ross stares at me for a couple of seconds before the corners of his eyes crinkle and he lets out a hearty laugh. That it was. Sometimes I forget that he's the most airheaded person when it comes to some things. I might be able to give him a run for his money. I'll go get him, if I don't get lost, that is. Oh, lovely. Thank you so much, Miss Shakya. Tell him off for me, will you? I smile at the older man as he seems to say it fondly and then turns to walk out. I'm not sure if I can find Marvin, but it's worth a try. Even though Ross's instructions were rather clear, I still have a hard time finding the right location as I wander through the unfamiliar part of town. The streets aren't extremely crowded, so I'm not uncomfortable, but I still get the distinct feeling that I'm lost. But then I find a street sign that says the same things as Ross knows. After walking a couple of blocks, I find the right apartment and start ascending the stairs. feel weirdly nervous when I find the right door. I'm sure this is the right place, but the door sign misspelled his name. I decide to push away feelings of uncertainty and knock on the door firmly. I wait for what may have been a very long time, but then I hear rustling on the other side of the door and stumbling steps before the door opens. "Can I help you, He trails off as he sees me, and I need a moment to take him in. First I catch his eyes, which are half-lidded and hazy. His hair is a complete mess of curls, and that's all I can register before I see the abomination that he's wearing. As he stands in the door, the horrendous sweater looks like something I would rather burn on the stake than ever see worn again, bright purple in color with decorative yellow stars. I'm so horrified by the sweater that only now I see that underneath the loose shorts he's wearing there's something a bit different. His leg. Well, or lack thereof. The prosthesis is simple and plain, and honestly the sweater is what draws the comment from me. That sweater is the ugliest thing I've ever seen. Marvin, who had been staring at me, probably not fully awake, lets out a short laugh and the silence is broken. That's one way to say good morning. What brings you to my humble abode, darkling? Ross says that you're late and forgot your phone at work, and well, I'm here because you told me to come to the cafe this morning, but apparently someone overslept. I'm barely able to see the panic in his face before he rushes into the apartment again. Come in, I'll change in no time. I walk in slowly and see Marvin disappear inside a room and close the door. With curiosity, I look around the room. His home, even. It's more light and open than my cramped apartment, and it smells fresh and like kiwis. For some reason I would have expected something a little more messy, but it's clear that he takes care of the space, even though it doesn't feel very personal. Only the smell tells me that this is Marvin's apartment. After a short while, he appears again, looking rather distressed. I'm really sorry about all of this. I use my phone as an alarm and, well, he stops talking and shrugs helplessly. Don't you ever use your phone during the day? Not really. I could offer to text him and give him something to use his phone for, but that almost sounds like I'm flirting, which I don't want to, I think. And this is the romance choice, or the first one anyway. And the way this big game is built is that you get a romance choice first, like this, and you can take it. And then you'll get another one, which is even more, like, this is kind of vague, but you have to get one that's even, like, more, not vague, like, it's even more straightforward, telling you whether or not, asking you whether or not you want to romance him, and you can, change your mind then, as well, but we're just gonna say not text him. Nah, I shouldn't bother. Anyway, I actually wanted to ask about your... I stopped myself because I realized it might offend him or be a sensitive issue. I looked down, not knowing how to cover up my error. My leg? But Marvin smiles, not seeming offended at all, but I can't be too sure. He pats his right knee almost affectionately. Yeah, how did that happen? Work accident. How? It glints in his eye, and he might have looked a little sad, but if he ever did, it's gone now. It was many years ago, when I didn't work for Ross. I worked at a factory in the outskirts of the city. Something fell over and, well, he shrugs as if it isn't a big deal. Don't do that. Do what? Shrug it off as if it isn't important. It probably meant a great deal for your daily life to lose something like that. It was, but I learned to appreciate what I had instead of mourning what I lost. I'm sorry. Why are you sorry? It felt right to say. And slowly, as if it returns to him after sleeping for a while, the smile is back on his lips, and I'm surprised at how relieved I am. Then who am I to question that? He shoots me a cheerful grin, and I can't help but breathe easy again. Shall we go? Ross is probably losing his mind tending to the cafe by himself. For some reason, it sounds like you make him lose it quite often. Maybe. When we finally arrive at the cafe, more customers has come, and I spot Ross immediately attending to the tables. Yeah, sorry, I thought I said that wrong. Marvin seems to hesitate, so I give him a firm nudge and mouth at him. Go. He smiles at me before walking towards Russ. I watch as the older man reprimands him, but I don't miss the fatherly squeeze he gives his shoulder too. I feel a bit envious. I live with Mom, but she only comes home every once in a while to check up on me. I never realized that I might be lonely. But I don't get a lot of time to feel sorry for myself, because Ross hurries over and thanks me warmly for doing him the favor of picking up Marvin. He'll fetch a cup of tea in the house and some breakfast. Have you eaten yet? But Ross has already hurried along, and I look after him feeling a bit dumbfounded. That man is truly a force of his own. I catch Marvin's eye, and he grins at me before returning to the kitchen. I decide that I might as well sit and relax. To my surprise, I end up drinking tea and eating the quite delicious food for a while. I'm so lost in thoughts that I don't pay attention to the sound of someone entering the cafe, but then I see a familiar face. Pringle, what a coincidence that you're here too. Why are you using your sarcastic voice? Because you spend more time here than at home these days. Oh. I shake my head and wait for him to sit down at my table before talking. So what are you doing here? Well, for your information, I quite like this cafe, and I had a feeling I would find you here. You seem to be in a good mood. Well, come on, spit it out. And then, as if he couldn't contain himself anymore, he gives me an expression I only see on the rarest occasions. His face lights up, his brows aren't frowning, and he's not trying to look a specific way. Dad came home yesterday. I can't help but smile with him. That's amazing, Lauren. I'm so happy for you. How long is he staying? Couple of months. He's gonna stay for my birthday. How nice. I bet Arya missed him tons. She really did. She wouldn't leave his lap, so we had to eat by the television, but since Mom wasn't home yet, we just watched TV all night and fed Arya the leftovers. The joy is almost shining off of him. He looks completely different than yesterday. Lauren has told us enough about his dad, and I know he loves him more than most things. I may not be able to put myself into people's shoes very well, but Lauren's happiness makes me happy as well. I'm glad he's back to make you less grumpy. Lauren clears his throat and schools his face into something more solemn, but the light in his eyes doesn't go out. Yeah, but anyway. I find you here yet again. I must say, either you enjoy the tea here a little too much, or this waiter of yours is quite the interesting individual. Both. Plus free tea. Tea leech. A title to wear with pride. We talk for a good while, and Marvin even joins in, talking to us between tending to customers. It's quite a nice afternoon. Cold tea sip, but then Lauren has to go back and spend time with his dad. I'll see you, Pringle. Try not to get tea poisoning before I see you again. He and Marvin exchange waves, and then he's out the door. Marvin then heads to my table, but I decide it's a good time for me to head home as well. I should probably go home now, preparing for dinner and all that. Do you like cooking? I smile wryly to myself. If you call putting a pizza in the oven cooking. Is that all you eat? No, I also eat instant noodles. Don't you live with someone? Most of the time it's just me. Marvin must have felt that I didn't want to talk about it, because he changed the subject rather gracefully. Anyway, I wanted to thank you for picking me up this morning. It's no problem. Marvin smiles at last time before I get up and make my way home. I'm incredibly tired when I return and finish dinner, so I just sit in bed and read for a couple of hours before getting ready for sleep. In bed, I lie in bed thinking about the day that now has passed. I'm glad Lauren is better. It's going to be good for him to see his dad again. I also saw Marvin's apartment. It's much cleaner than mine, but also more empty, in a way. Slowly sleep takes me, and I don't get to think more about anything. I spend most of my day in the kitchen, looking out the window. The wind tickles my face and feels nice since I don't go out much on these slow days. The fact that I don't have anything to do with my time doesn't sadden me as much as I'm used to it. Some people would call me lonely. And who knows, maybe I am. I haven't seen my mom in a long time. She doesn't come home very often anymore. Perhaps I am lonely. I spend the rest of the day with these thoughts, and I don't stop before I rest my head upon the pillow and sleep takes me. Part 5. The walk. I stopped caring about people who care about me, about my desperate wish to feel free. I find myself giving in to sleep. Today is not a good day. I decided to walk by the lake today before making my way to Cafe Ross. There are no traces of the rain from yesterday, and the sun is shining bravely, filtering through the trees. But the sight of the sun doesn't make me feel better as I'd hoped when I woke up this morning. Instead, it stings my eyes and I have to close them for a couple of seconds. I should probably go to the cafe. I agreed to let Marvin help me, even if I don't believe he can. I can't go back on my word now, can I? Sorry, yawns. When I step inside, I'm met with the familiar scent of coffee and sounds of people going about their everyday lives. For some reason, it hits me harder than it usually does, probably because it's a bad day. All of these people, the lady talking on her phone in the corner, the teenagers talking loudly, the man writing on his computer, all of them have lives, families, places to be, places to go, a future. I'm brought out of my thoughts when I catch the color red out of the corner of my eye. I turn and find Regan sitting between all of these people with all of their lives. And she's just sitting there. Feeling a bit numb, I make my way towards her and try and fail to put on a friendly smile. Hey, Regan. Hi. She clears her throat, a tint of red shining in her cheeks. Hi, Shaka. It's obvious that the same shell I saw around her last time is in place, and she doesn't know how to remove it. And honestly, I don't even have the energy to try and break it, so I slump in the seat across from her. When no one says anything, she shifts in her seat, obviously not knowing what to say. Are you alright? Well, when I woke up this morning, I just knew it was going to be a bad day, and then I went to the lake, which I normally love. But it didn't make me feel better at all, and then I went here and thought that my mood would become better, but then I saw all the people and how they're living their lives, getting somewhere, and that made me feel really lonely and out of place, and I just really disliked this day. Wow, you really laid all of that on me. Sorry. I realized that I did something again that wasn't completely right. She's giving me a look I'm getting used to, a look that tells me I said something wrong. It makes me feel even more miserable, and most of all, I just want to go back to my room and never come out. And you can still get a good ending if you don't befriend Regan, but you won't get the epilogue if you don't. So we're gonna stay. I'm not sure what I can do to make the conversation less awkward, but I stay where I am, waiting for something. Regan seems at a loss for words, and I use this time of silence to just look at her. I know her eyes would be kind if she allowed warmth in them. I've seen it. Robbing a hairdresser. What? That would be our first mission, as partners in crime, robbing a hairdresser. Why? Her lips quirk ever so slightly. When you have awesome hair like ours, we need loads of stuff to keep it healthy and good looking. The laugh bursts out of me, and I smile through something hot and wet in my eyes. Quickly I dry them, and even though I still feel like I'm unsteady, a little smile rests on my lips. You like my hair? Yeah, it reminds me of this one character from a magazine. It reminds me of a model from a magazine that I read. She's suddenly stuttering, and as if there's something she stops herself from saying, but I don't dwell on it. Thank you, Regan. No problem. Another silence lies between us, but since it seems like Regan actually wants to talk to me, somehow I give it a try too. I have a hard time talking to you. I'm sorry if I say something that you find bizarre, but I'm not sure how to talk like... I think about how I want to phrase it. Normal people. Well, you're gonna have to bear with me. I'm not sure how... I'm not used to people just coming right out and saying stuff like that. Bluntly, with no double meaning or things to read in between the lines to get. It's kind of refreshing, actually, but I'm not really used to it at all. She stretches in her chair and slowly she sheds the cool exterior to reveal a more somber and tired expression. I'm around people like that all day. Say this and they will answer that, do this and you get that response. It's all written out in front of me. Like a script in a movie or lines of dialogue in a video game. And I'm just someone who knows how the story goes. And then sometimes they're just people who step outside, does something I had no idea of seeing, and it pulls me out of course, makes me unsteady, and what I'm saying isn't making any sense. Maybe not, but I like it better when you talk like this instead of trying to be an actor in a movie. I think I do too. But I slip into it all the time. I just do it because it's what I'm supposed to do. It's what's normal. I see. For a little while, I just stare into space, but then it comes to me. I got it! What? Whenever I'm near you and I see you start doing that actor thing, I'll say cut, like in a movie. She laughs at my suggestion, and I've come to enjoy the sound of her laugh. Unlike the rest of her, she's not trying to be perfect. It actually sounds a little goofy and rough. It makes me laugh too. We talk for a good while about all kinds of things. Now that the ice is broken, Regan talks to me animatedly about movies she saw recently and how there was a really good sale in a nearby store. It's obvious when she's talking about something she's passionate about, because her eyes light up and she smiles without knowing it herself. I'm happy I stayed. It's gotten rather late. I think I'll have to head home. Do you live with your family? It's just Mom and I. No dad? Nah, just Mom and I. I live without a dad too. Well, and without a mom most of the time as well. I'm going to say something weird. Are you ready? Can't be more weird than what I usually spit out. Okay. It seems like she braces herself for something. You can come over sometimes, you know, to eat dinner or something. Thanks, I'd like that. Okay, see you later. Oh, and I almost forgot. Say thanks to the waiter guy who works from here. For me, will you? He told me you perhaps came today. I will. Regan waves at me, and I smile slightly before moving towards the door and leaving with hasty steps. I realize suddenly that I haven't seen Marvin at all today. Ross was the one who served me, and I was too caught up in other things to ask him. Ugh, move position. That's weird. Shouldn't he be serving tables? I'm about to give up on meeting him today since the cafe will be closing down soon when I hear the sounds of running footsteps. Shaka! Marvin, where have you been all day? He takes a couple of breaths and then eases into his old smile that I've come to know well. It amazes me how he can give such a lively expression when he's obviously tired. Dave woke up this morning with the flu. Russ can't bake for his life, so I had to take on kitchen duty. You know how to bake? Dave wouldn't allow me to work here before he had taught me the basics, plus a little extra. But you just said Russ couldn't bake at all. Dave always goes easy on the old fella. I see affection in his eyes, and it warms me somehow. It feels like Russ and Dave's are like Marvin's family. It makes me wonder about Marvin's real family. Well, I'm glad I could see you before closing time. Me too. But I should probably leave now. Can I take you home? He seems weirdly unsure, as if he's nervous. It's a weird reaction from him, but I don't comment it. If you're not too tired. I'm not. Alright, I just had to get another cup of tea. We walk down the road in silence, and while that's not uncommon when I'm with Marvin, there's still something off about him. I'm not sure about what. It's not that he's sad or down, maybe more thoughtful. I give up trying to read him, and before I know it, we're at my apartment. I turn and lift my hand to say goodbye, but it looks like he wants to say something. I wait patiently for him to say it, but it never comes. So we stand there, and I feel slightly unsure of what to do. Then I realize what I should ask, even though I'm not sure why. Do you want to come inside? Yes, please, thank you. It's still odd how he acts, but I don't say anything and just open the door and start walking up the stairs to let him inside. Alright, so it's pretty late now, so I'm thinking I'm gonna save it here. Now look at the save mechanic. Oh, it's beautiful. Oh, lovely. So it's not that late. It's like 11 or almost 12 o'clock, but like, it's kind of late. I'm tired. I got up early this morning. So, this is not gonna affect you in any way, but I'm gonna record more tomorrow when I'm less tired. Yeah. Alright, it's morning and I'm less tired. First, I quickly went to my room to open the window so fresh air comes in, and then I make some tea in the kitchen, push a couple of things to the side to make it look presentable, but I quickly give up. Then I return to the living room where I left Marvin. When I return with 2 teacups, I find Marvin standing rigidly in my living room, and once again I find it bizarre that he seems so stiff. I put the cups on the sofa table and take a seat in one of the smallest leather sofa chairs. You can sit, you know. Oh, yes, thank you. He sits down on the other sofa chair and reaches for his cup. He looks around my living room. I'm not sure what he thinks of it. There's quite the clutter everywhere, papers lying on the floor and old cups on the tables. The furniture looks old and retro, Mom's weird taste, and it's obvious that I don't vacuum often. But what he asks surprises me. Why all of the clocks? Mom likes them. I thought you lived alone. I do. Mostly. Marvin's forehead wrinkles and he looks a bit troubled. Don't they bother you? If you dislike disturbing sounds like a full cafe, then this must be quite bothersome. I'm not sure. Maybe I don't notice it anymore. And for some reason he looks terribly sad when I say this, and it truly doesn't make sense, because I'm sure I didn't say anything offensive, so why does he look so down? I decide to drop it since I can't wrap my brain around it. So why did you come inside? I don't assume it's because you wanted my company. I noticed that you didn't look so great today. I'm not sure how to answer that. I haven't had the best day. Talking to Regan helped a little, but I don't know. I've been thinking about what I can do to help you, and I thought we could talk a bit. You know, to find out what to do. I know I agreed to get his help, but now that we actually have to talk, I'm not so sure. I stare into space while a small part of me hopes that he will just disappear, like the bad thoughts do when I space out. Of course, that's only wishful thinking, but what can you do? Marvin stays silent for a few seconds, and I actually forget he's there. But then I hear the slightest rustle. First I don't think anything of it, but then he asks, "What's this?" He holds up a paper that was on the floor with scribbly handwriting on it. I shrug, not caring, and try to return to my little fantasy world, but then I realize what it is. "Don't read that!" As quickly as I can, I snatch the paper from him. Hastily, I skim the first couple of lines on the written-down poem. In a never-spinning world, I am standing still. That is what people see. You have to will yourself into going at my pace. I crumple up the paper and try to keep the ball stable in my shaking hands. Did you read it all? Shakya, I said, did you read it all? Yes. I don't know what to say. It should be my fault since it was just lying around, but I can't say anything. I can only think of the words on that paper, and that he read them. The ending. What about it? I answer too quickly. Too quickly for it to be close to natural. It's very sad. Yeah, and what's your point? It's about your life, your world, right? I just think it should have a happier ending. Well, that's not up for you to decide now, is it? No, that's you. I'm sorry I read it, I didn't mean to. It's okay. Silence fills the air and makes it thick and almost impossible to breathe in. I'm not sure what to say, so I just sit here, looking at my cold cup of tea. You know, I didn't have it either once. Have what? His lips twitches. My happiness? I grew up in a big household. My mom, my dad, and 6 younger siblings. Efren, Reina. Oh god, there's a new video. Give me a sec. Whoops. Efren, Reina, Tala, Benji, Jasmine, and little Rosa. I see the smallest of smiles on his lips, but it's bittersweet and fleeting. We lived in a tiny rundown apartment in a little town near here. We didn't have much. My dad was unemployed and my mom cleaned houses for a living. Dad got a new job every other month and then came home days later to tell my mother quietly that it didn't work out. She never got angry, always took it in stride. Sometimes I wish she would have yelled at him. I never got along with my dad. As the oldest, I always challenged him, and he wasn't good at understanding the way kids challenge grown-ups. He always took me seriously. For some reason, I remember that it rained often in my town. I would sit on the balcony, even though I wasn't allowed, and watch the water droplets fall into the channel. It wasn't an easy life. We never seemed to have enough space or enough of anything. All I wanted was to get quickly through school and start working to earn money for my family. I started high school and wanted to drop out immediately. I just wanted to get a job so badly. I wanted to buy the doll Tala saw in the supermarket when we went shopping. I wanted to show Efren what it was like to go to the cinema. I wanted to give my mom the prettiest earrings I could find. You could say I thought money would solve everything. So I told my parents I wanted to drop out of high school after first year. Dad got furious. He claimed I was irresponsible and dumb, and that I didn't think about my future, that working should not be taken lightly. I see now that he was looking out for me, but back then I was so angry and bitter. Phone, stop! I was sure I could hold a job longer than he could. So I dropped out at 18 and went to the big city to work. It was easier than I thought. A new factory had just opened and needed lots of workers. I'd never had problems with physical labor, so I managed. I wasn't happy, but the thought of my mother's relief, my father's pride when I returned with money got me through the day. I worked for half a year, eating the cheapest food I could find, sleeping in a rundown flat that leaked from everywhere. I wasn't happy, but just the thought of becoming happy was enough for me. And then one day, he pauses. Marvin has told the story with a calm expressions, but his eyes betray the hurt that he's feeling now. I don't know what's coming, so I hold my breath as well. Well, you know the story. One of the cranes were transporting a big load to a truck and malfunctioned when it was hovering right above me. His breath catches, and I feel how my heart is hammering against my ribcage. I remember jumping back, but not nearly enough, and it was just gone. I woke up in the hospital, almost drowned in medical bills. I somehow managed to pay for a bit of it with all of the money I had saved up, but then I had nothing left. I remember while recovering, the sky outside the window was so incredibly blue, so beautiful and big and vast. It felt like it was mocking me. I thought my father was right. The hospital gave me a couple of crutches and sent me on my way. I barely knew how to use them. I had no money to give my family, no functional body to earn money with, no flat to return to. I had nothing. I couldn't return home. I didn't have the strength to return with nothing but bills and the knowledge that I had failed them. I would rather have them think I had left them for good. I stumbled aimlessly through town after being released, and somehow I managed to fall flat on the road. And I knew, Shaka. I knew I would never get up. But then, of course, that was when Ross found me. He took me to his newly opened cafe and gave me a cup of tea. He and Dave helped me through it, gave me a job, helped me with the bills, and took me in. And the rest is history. Gotta take a drink. I don't know what to say. Somehow it can't seep entirely into my brain. He just put it all out there for me to take. Every detail, every shameful feeling, he gave it to me without holding back. There's more to the story, but I already talked for ages. My point is that some people won't see me as a charity case. But to me, someone reached out to me when I needed it the most. And that did more than I could ever have hoped for. It wasn't easy to live a new way. Dave and Russ worked me to the bone, but slowly I found myself being happier. I'm far from done with growing. I still haven't contacted my family. Tala is probably too old to play with dolls now, and little Rosa probably isn't so little anymore. I'm afraid to go back. But I hope I will one day. I stare. My heart is pounding in my ears, and I can feel my hands are clammy, but I part my lips anyway. He waits, looking at me patiently, calmly, his eyes gentle and open, and that makes it so much easier to let the words spill. I feel like I don't belong in this world. I walk around my own town and I see nothing but strangers, creatures that aren't like me, humans that aren't like me. I refuse to pretend to be something I'm not, but that also means that society paints me as weird or out of place. I say something that I think is completely normal and people give me these looks and it hurts. It hurts more than sitting alone in my apartment, shutting out everything and pushing people away. And I'm tired. I'm just so tired of this world that doesn't want me. I can feel tears threatening to fall and I hide my face behind my arms quickly. I swallow when my voice doesn't want to come out without breaking. Shaka? I don't answer. I just keep my face hidden, hoping this horrible aching that I usually try to ignore goes away soon. Can I hug you? I don't have to hesitate. I nod. He's here at once, his arms around me, first loosely, but then growing braver, he embraces me. My snotty nose is pressed against his shirt, and for a moment I only see beige and smell kiwis. I relax after a couple of seconds, and I can't remember when the last time I felt so secure when I was this close to another human was. I let myself weep for a little while. Just for a little while. Then I look up at Marvin, knowing what to say. And we're gonna take this choice. The other choice leads to a bad ending. I want to belong in this world, no matter how much it doesn't want me. I don't know how, but I want to try. Marvin's smile is brighter than the sun when he squeezes my shoulder. I think that's the best start you could ever hope for. We exchange smiles and then realize it's gotten quite late. I show Marvin out and he leaves to go home, but not without giving me a quick hug first. Part 6. The calm. I lie on the ground and to others. When they beg me to try, I drag my lips upward while my mind says goodbye. Lauren and I are hanging out at Cafe Ross the next day, and while I've been there a whole lot, let me try that again. And while I've been here a whole ton these days, today it feels different. The weather is rainy, which should make me feel uncomfortable, but honestly I don't mind it. So how are things with your dad? They're good. Just hang out, you know. He's going to work all day tomorrow, so I should have time if you're up. Same place? This is kind of like our base now, huh? Yeah, it's really nice here. But is it really okay that you go out so much? We figure it out. Okay then. We talk for a bit, and as always, time seems to go much faster in this cafe than is possible. Damn, it's gotten really late. I have tons of stuff to catch up on. You're talking about video games, right? Darling, it's something you simply wouldn't be able to comprehend. Yeah, sure, going out before your fictional characters miss you too much. He laughs before making his way out and leaving me in the cafe. We helped cleaning it up a bit, and Dave and Ross already went home. I should go home as well. Part 7. The beginning. It's been gone for a while. The other part was really short, but that's because that's where part of the romance path with Marvin comes in. I'm awakened by the sound of my phone, and I search blindly for a couple of seconds before I find the humming device. People rarely call me, and my half-asleep mind can't comprehend who would. Hello, Marvin? Sorry to disappoint you. Lauren? I sit up on the bed and try to shake the sleep off me. As soon as my mind clears, I realize that Lauren sounds a little off. Is something wrong? I'm at the hiding spot. Lauren, did something happen? I'll be here. The call cuts off and I'm left to stare at my phone, feeling worry rising. Lauren rarely shows any stronger emotions than anger. This way of acting is very unlike him. I quickly get up and start to head out. The hiding spot is a place that Lauren took me to once. This is where he goes to get away from everything. While it may not be the most secretive spot, people rarely come this far into the forest. People are content with staying on the path and walking in the sun. I look around trying to spot Lauren stepping through crinkling leaves. Lauren, are you here? There's a sound of rustling leaves, and I turn my head to see Lauren coming out of the little homemade den that big kids build out of twigs. He looks dejected, his shoulders slumping, his eyes are tired and shadowed. It's obvious he hasn't had the easiest time since I saw him last. Lauren? I don't know why I called you. I don't know. I'm glad you did. Come on, let's sit somewhere. We sit near the little twig den, leaning against a tree trunk. Lauren sighs, looking straight forward, resting his elbows on his knees. For a while we just sit there, taking in the sounds of nature and the gentle breeze that plays with the leaves on the ground. After a couple of minutes, Lauren opens his mouth with an almost hopeless expression. Do you ever feel like... He swallows and presses his lips together. When he finally speaks again, his voice is hoarse. Like you're never good enough. Oh, Lauren. I take a deep breath and resist the urge to ask what it's all about. I don't think he'd want me to pry. Instead, I give him the only answer I know. All the time. Even on days where I feel close to normal, there's always this nagging feeling that tells me I'm not enough. Not happy enough, not normal enough, not human enough. My parents are getting a divorce. I don't say anything, even though I ache to make him feel better somehow. I decided to just listen. It's not like it's a surprise or anything. They haven't gotten along for a while, and honestly, I don't really mind, but he breathes in and then out slowly as if he's trying to keep all of his emotions in check. Dad's moving. He probably won't be living anywhere near here. Can't you go with him? It's not that simple. He sighs and it's a heavy, defeated sound. I was really happy when Dad came home. Living with Mom had become so tiresome, and all we ever did was fight and bicker. No matter what I did, it wasn't good enough for her. I need a good education, I need connections and a steady income. Lauren makes a frustrated sound in his throat and gestures wildly in the air. She makes me so angry. Then what's the problem? Why can't you go live with your dad? Because no matter how much we get on each other's nerves and she can tire me out, she's the one who's been here. Through all the times when I was such an asshole who didn't give a shit about anything, and on the good days, even if they're few. When Dad came home, I realized that while he may get along with what I say easier and be more relaxed about my future, he He doesn't care like Mom does. His face twists into a sneer as if he bit into something bitter. And well, then there's the fact that he refuses to accept the whole me-liking dude thing. I don't want to count how many times he's asked if I've gotten over that phase or if I don't have a girlfriend to show off soon. That's horrible. Yeah, I know. And I know that they're just human. But when they sat down to talk to me this morning, I saw the difference in their expressions. Mom looked sad, not because of the divorce. I don't think she's loved Dad in a long time. I think she was sad for me. And Dad just looked like it was a chore somehow. By the end of it all, it just felt so pathetic and useless and not good enough. Lauren, I'm not sure what to do. I want to help him so badly. I want to ease him and make him that hopeless look in his eyes go away, but I have no idea how. God damn it! Not now. Not now. Excuse me. Lauren. I'm not sure what to do. I want to help him so badly. I want to ease him and make that hopeless look in his eyes go away, but I have no idea how. Excuse me. Lauren isn't the hug time. God damn it! Not now. Not now, I'm recording. God damn it. Ah! I'm back. Lauren isn't the hug type of person, and I'm not either. We're both very careful when it comes to physical attention, but at the same time, I feel like he needs some sort of comfort. Carefully, I put my hand down and lay it on his arm and look at him closely. You're good enough. I know that, but you're good enough. I don't know what else to say, but I just want you to know that. And even if I don't know how to make you feel better, I'll always listen and I'll always be here. We're getting rather mushy, aren't we? Lauren, I'm trying to be a good friend here. He sighs, and it's as if his shoulders relax a little, and he shoots me a little grin. At least it wasn't a bad pun this time. Well, if you wanted puns, I'm not going to deny you them. Please, no. I'd tell you a chemistry joke, but I know I wouldn't get a reaction. Please stop. Why was Cinderella thrown off the basketball team? Mercy, Pringle. Come on, why was Cinderella thrown off the basketball team? She ran away from the ball! Ugh. When we get to Cafe Ross, Lauren seems to feel better, even though I'm close to exhausting my collection of puns. But not yet. You know what, Lauren? I actually really dislike puns. You do? Lauren looks at me disbelievingly, and I breathe in through my nose to keep a straight, serious face. Yeah, especially insect ones. They really bug me. Lauren literally stalks to our usual table and throws himself into the chair. We settle down and order from Ross, who comes to greet us enthusiastically. He even lets us have some cake they've baked on the house. When he walks away, I look to Lauren. We're starting to feel like regulars here, huh? Nah, he just really wants you to hook up with Waiter Guy. Lauren! What? It's true. I think both of his parents ship you. I don't even know what that means, and besides, Dave and Ross aren't Marvin's parents. Really? I just got that impression from looking at them. I was actually rather jealous of their relationship. Marvin hasn't had it easy. He's been through a lot. He told you about his family? Well, yeah. It's not that nice of a story. I get the feeling that it wouldn't be too polite to just blurt out Marvin's story, and it probably isn't mine to tell, so I shrug. Then I spot a familiar face under the side of the cafe. Regan sits by herself, looking out of the window, as I've seen her do before. Her eyes are calm and her posture relaxed, but I can see that she carries the same barrier as always. I actually hoped I would see her again, since talking to her was rather pleasant last time. I look at her and wave until she sees me, and then gestures for her to come over. I read surprise on her features, and she clearly hesitates before it seems like she takes a decision and gets up. She arrives at our table, and even though she still seems hesitant, I try to give her my warmest smile. Hi, Regan. Please come join us. Lauren definitely doesn't want the company, but it was also clear what he thought about Regan when he saw her the last time. Regan's face is impassive and almost bland as she shrugs her shoulders. I'm not sure. Wouldn't I bother you guys? Once again, she's barricaded from us, and it leaves a bad taste in my mouth. I do remember our conversation from last time, though. If she can't help it, I'll help her out of it. And cut! Both Regan and Lauren jump, and people at other tables look to see what the commotion is about. Regan stares for a good while, and then I see something familiar. Gotcha. I'm on a break now. She sits down beside me, across from Lauren, and looks much more relaxed. Lauren still looks confused, but he schools his face into more calm features. Should I ask? Nah. So how was your day, Regan? That was a pretty valiant attempt at small talk, if I do say so myself. It's pretty quiet. Went to the mall and bought a couple of things. But then again, it's obvious that Regan is used to such topics, and honestly, it's not that interesting to talk about. So instead of answering blandly, I ask something else instead. What's your favorite part of this town? Regan wrinkles her brows and obviously thinks really hard for a second or two. Probably down by the harbor, especially during summer. You like the ocean? Yeah, well, mostly looking at it. I'm not much of a swimmer. My out-of-the-blue question worked, and we talked for a little while about small, peculiar things. Lauren doesn't really join the conversation, so after a bit I turn to him, trying to include him. So, Lauren, play any good video games lately? Actually, this new one just came out recently, and it's pretty interesting. I knew that video games would get him talking, and I try to listen as he goes on a good while about this new game, but honestly all of the descriptions he uses are gibberish in my ears. So yeah, playing as a rogue is pretty useful, and especially if you use twin blades and one of the special moves in a combo. But on the other hand, playing as a mage is beyond frustrating. It's obvious the developers didn't put any effort into it. It's so annoying. We both turned towards Regan, who scoffed softly, and Lauren sent her a questioning glance. What? Obviously, you don't know how to use the mage correctly. You need to use the special items you can buy from the Forbidden Merchant in the Enchanted Forest to gain more mana. It's intentional on the creator's part, so there's a character for more skilled players. I mean, nothing. How did you... No reason. I mean, nothing. Regan looks more distressed than I've seen her before, and while I'm almost as shocked as Lauren, a small part of me finds her flustered state quite adorable. I still don't see the appeal of the mage. There's nothing interesting about the character. It's obvious that Regan tries her very best to contain herself and not take Lauren's bait, but after a couple of seconds she gives in as if she just can't help herself. Have you even seen the armor for mages? It's literally the coolest thing ever. Besides, if you earn enough skill points, you can get the revive move, and I tell you, that is the most useful skill to have. I guess so. Maybe I should try that. Does it help with the Dragon of Mount Tark? You bet it does. When I completed the game with a rogue, I had to spend way too many potions, and it was the worst to get through. As Lauren and Regan get into an in-depth conversation about this particular video game, I lean back in my seat and let them talk about whatever it is. It's fun to see how both of them are excited to talk about it to someone, and while Regan was hesitant at first, he now talks animatedly and lectures Lauren when he says something negative. Stop writing me, people. Why am I so popular suddenly? I never actually thought the two of them would get along, but now they talk with no abandon, and it's quite amazing. Lauren also looks like he's feeling better, which warms me more than anything. I'm letting them talk and look around the cafe, and suddenly my eyes catch a familiar face. Marvin is cleaning up a table, stapling dishes on a tray, but it seems like he feels me looking because he looks over and smiles. He walks towards me and I can't help the smile on my lips. He stops by my side and talks with a low voice not to disturb Regan and Lauren's conversation. Looks like those two are getting along. You got that right. Apparently Regan has a secret love for video games. I'll be on my break now. Do you think I could loan you for a bit? Sure, but you gotta pay up. Stop writing me. I'm gonna put this phone on flight mode. Flight mode. Flight mode. Marvin stops when we get outside and stands at the side of the road. It's honestly pretty nice to be outside, since not that many people are here at this time. The fresh air and sunshine makes me relax. Is there something specific you wanted, or is it just the company? Instead of the quirky reply I expected, Marvin becomes quiet, thoughtful, maybe nervous. What's wrong? I wanted to know if you're okay. We haven't really had the chance to talk about, well, what we discussed last time. I guess so. I know I said that I wanted to belong in this world, but it's just not that easy. I can't take an education like normal people. It confuses me too much and takes all of my energy. And I don't want to go somewhere with people where people with special problems can go. I don't want to stick out. I wanted to ask you about that. I look up after being shrugged out of my miserable thoughts and find something that might be determination but also nervousness in Marvin's eyes. I don't want this to seem like I'm trying to force it on you or anything, but he breathes in, and it's weird to see Marvin so flustered and out of sorts. He's usually calm, but now it seems like he's afraid of how I will react. I've talked to Ross and Dave about you. Not anything personal, I just told them a bit about you. I talked to them and about how we need more helpers in the cafe, and they said they would be glad to have you if you wanted to work here. Of course, we'd be able to do it in a way where you can feel safe. On the quiet days, you can help serving the tables and cleaning, and on busy days, you can stay in the kitchen with Dave and help him out. Dave dislikes being around a lot of people. I think you two will get along just fine, and well, the pay would be good too, and thought perhaps it'd give you something to do, and... Marvin. Yes? Be quiet for a while, I need to take this in. Of course. Sorry. And I really do need to take it in. I think of all I've experienced after meeting Marvin and seeing Cafe Ross. I've seen Lauren more often, and I actually feel like we've gotten closer. I got to know Regan, and honestly, I think there's so much more to know about her. I actually want to know more about her. And then there's Marvin, and honestly, I'm not even sure what to think of him. It's almost overwhelming of how much I've come to trust him. That's not something I do easily at all. Thank you. I think that sums it all up pretty well. I don't know what the future is going to bring. I'm terrified of it, to be honest, but he reached out when I thought I had no choice but to be alone. He taught me that I'm not wrong, I'm not something to be erased or fixed, I'm good enough. I don't know if it will work, if it will all just end up being me alone in my apartment again, but it's a risk I'm willing to take. So thank you, for not giving up on me, for not turning your back to me even though I'm different. If you'll have me, I'd love to work here. And finally he laughs, openly, letting the sound out for the wind to take. His shoulders relax and happiness is almost radiating off him. I don't hesitate before throwing myself into his arms for a hug. He's surprised at first, but then he laughs and hugs me back for a couple of seconds. It feels safe. He lets me go, and I can't help but feel light, as if a burden has been taken from my shoulders. I'm about to say something, but someone steps out from the cafe. It's Ross, who looks a bit flustered and also mildly annoyed. Arvin, your break has been over for 10 minutes. Oh shoot, I'm sorry, I lost track of time. I'll be there in a bit. Oh, and Shakya said yes to working here. Oh, that's lovely. We're glad to have you, Shakya. Welcome to the family. He chuckles before sending Marvin a stern but gentle look. Come back in as soon as you can, Arvin. You don't have time to dawdle around. Of course. Ross leaves us, and I look back to Marvin as something suddenly hits me. Wait, what did he just call you? He just called you Arvin. Is that some sort of nickname? Your name is Arvin? Are you surprised? Of course I am! Why didn't you correct me when I assumed your name? I don't know, it was kind of funny, and it was like a personal nickname. You're incredibly sly for someone who looks so innocent. Arvin laughs again, and while I'm still feeling a bit flustered, it's way too contagious not to smile at. You better stop calling me Duckling now. I don't know, that name is strangely adorable for you. You tease. And so, I started working at Cafe Ross. It wasn't easy. I had to get used to getting up early, and on the bad days it was extremely taxing. But Arvin, Ross, and Dave helped me out, and were patient and good to me. I couldn't have found better people to work with. Lauren also came by often in the beginning to help me settle. He's still confused and sad about his parents' divorce, but last I heard he and his mom talked some of the things out. Regan also comes by often. After her and Lauren found a shared interest in video games, they started to hang out a lot. It's funny how two so different people can hit it off so well. I think they're rather good for each other. And all in all, I've settled rather nicely. I feel much better than before, even though it can still be hard to be different from everyone else. It's true that this world wasn't built for me, but somehow I managed to find a place to belong anyway. Are you stupid? You gotta go to the cave, not the forest. I'm trying, but there's a log in the way. Use the strike move! Hi guys, have I disturbed something? They both look up from the console Lauren was playing on, and Regan smiles lightly at me. Hi Shaka, Hi Shaka, sorry for being antisocial. It's fine, believe it or not, I quite enjoy watching you two go at it. That's because Miss Feisty over here gets a little too much into the game. No, I don't. I think I recall frantic yelling last time we were here. Let's forget about that. We all laugh, and I join them by our usual table. So I guess you're not working today, Sharka? No, it's one of my off days. Luckily, it was incredibly crowded yesterday. I'm happy to have a break. That's also why I can't stay too long. I need to go home and recharge. Gotcha. You'll probably have to stay a bit longer. Until sundown if you continue to suck like this. Lauren and Regan continue to bicker, and I look around for Arvin. Just gotten used to calling him that. I know he's serving tables today, but he must be in the kitchen for now. I'm about to give up searching, but then I hear the sound of footsteps and turn to find Arvin walking towards us. A black coffee, a latte macchiato, an Earl Grey tea with 2 sugar cubes and a teaspoon of milk. Thank you, Arvin, and hi. Regan and Lauren are back to playing their game, and I'm almost too engrossed in it. I smile at them before looking at Arvin again. Greetings, Duckling. How long are you staying today? Only for a bit. I need a breathing room after yesterday. I understand. It was quite the day. I should tell you from Dave and Ross that you did a splendid job. That's good. I was actually worried I didn't do too well. We chat for a little while longer, while as Regan and Lauren continue to focus on the video game. It seems like Lauren went the wrong way and had to fight a wrong enemy, so Regan is almost yelling at him. It's quite fun to watch, though. And so, I spent another day in Cafe Ross, the place I'm calling my home. And this is the true end, called No End in Sight. And that's it. That's the game. You can see all of the credits down here, if you want to know, about anyone who helped me work and what I've been doing. I'm so incredibly happy with this game. It's one of my best works ever, as I mentioned before, and I just love it so terribly much. These empty streets I just hope you guys enjoyed too. Thank you so much for watching. This is a bit of a long video, but I wanted to show what I've made and what I'm so proud of. As a game developer, this is a good beginning, I feel, to more serious projects that actually look more professional in a way. Of course, it's still indie, it's still me working on it mostly, but like, somehow it feels bigger and more professional than the other things I've done in the past. And I'm so proud of it. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. First of all, I really want to show this CG gallery because I hadn't shown that before. It's just pictures. There are one CG here, which is for the romance path. you'll have to play the game yourself. I'm gonna leave a link in the description if you want to check that out, and if you want the bad ending too, then you can check that out. Um, I don't know when the second path will be out. It's a slow process, cause I need a rather long breathing room after working for an entire month on this game and not thinking about anything else. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video or whatever I make. Bye!